Trending, and we also have Kelvin Yakundi from the business desk to give us an update on what's happening in the business world. I want us now to just start off with Clement Masombo to give us an update on what's happening in Nakuru County. Good morning, Clement.
We are coming to you live from and we shall be looking at the new fuel prices. Of course, it's once again pain at the pump for Kenyans as they wake up. EPRA, that is the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and just the new prices that have been announced today, actually in the midnight when they wake up to this morning, is that petrol, 1 liter of petrol will be retailing at 180 shillings 0.67. That is here the price as announced here in Nyeri town, and a liter of diesel will be retailing at 166.37 shillings, while kerosene will be retailing at 149 shillings 0.31. And of course, this is just yesterday I was speaking to some of the farmers and getting their views on the expectations from the new government, and among the things they were giving priority, among the things that they really wanted to be looked into, aside from the new prices of the fertilizer as announced by President William Ruto, they were also asking him that he should look into making sure that they reduce the price of fuel, and of course saying that fuel is very crucial when it comes to farming and agriculture. Remember that most farm machineries use diesel and other types of fuel, and they were saying that it would be very important if also the government will look into ensuring that they reduce the prices of fuel. And this is likely to affect more Kenyans, even in terms of running their day-to-day businesses. Look at like a day like today when most schools are closing, most learners are expected to travel to various parts of the country, and we are expecting that maybe prices and fares will be hiking in between now and the later part of the day, because most matatu operators had earlier on communicated that should the price of fuel go up, then they will not have any other option other than looking into because their profit margin has also reduced, so they will make sure that they also raise the fares from one place to another, just to comply with the new fuel prices. So that is what we shall be looking into, and as the day goes, of course, we shall be seeking views from various Kenyans and stakeholders in the transport sector to see whether the prices on the fares will be hiking or they will remain constant as they are. Over to you.
Right, Clement Masombo there in Nyeri County, of course, talking about the fuel prices that have just increased. And now I want us to cross over to Kakamega County, where we have Alan Ochanda on standby, where it is the swearing in of Fernandes Barasa as the governor. Good morning, Alan.
Weather is quite friendly, unlike the other days when it's normally rainy in the wee hours of the day, and of course at the better part of the day, especially in the morning hours. But today, Kakamega County is now, just like Mombasa County, going to get a substantive new sheriff in town. Remember that unlike the other 45 counties, Kakamega and Mombasa counties really got their new governors, of course, later on after the late election exercise that was occasioned the first instance with the mishap in the printing of the ballot papers. It was then postponed to 23rd of last month. It never took place due to what the IEBC call security and safety concerns of their officers. And then it was pushed to 29th, where Fernandes Barasa beat his closest contender, was his closest opponent, the Kenya Kwanza's and ANC's Cleophas Malala, with quite some slim margin here. And so Fernandes Barasa and Ayub Savula are now going to be the governor and deputy governor, substantive ones, as the holders of those particular offices are taking over from the outgoing governor Wycliffe Oparanya and his deputy Professor Philip Kutima. But remember that there are actually several issues that we expect that maybe after the swearing in. Of course, the swearing in is actually prescribed by the Constitution to happen between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Of course, the judicial processes. And so after there, we can have maybe these political speeches here. We understand the chairperson of the Assumptions Committee, just Ambassador James Ochami, had indicated and opined in us yesterday that they have invited over 10,000 guests. That is an exercise prize that and an event that will cobble 8 million shillings. And so we are expecting that besides the VIPs, we also have residents of Kakamega County from the 12 sub-counties really streaming in. We've already experienced and witnessed those school buses really ferrying people. And so from here, we shall be moving there. But we expect that especially the ailing sugar industry will also be making great fodder for the two leaders. Of course, the governor and his deputy. Of course, during their manifesto, they really had a huge chunk of their manifesto really dwelling on the ailing sugar industry and also the mining industry. Remember that Kakamega County has that potential of the mining of gold here is estimated at 200 billion shillings, still even listed on the UK stock exchange market. And so it's actually those actually the economy enablers here in Kakamega County. And so besides that, we are expecting that maybe on the issues of health sector infrastructure, those are some of the things we expect the new governor will be talking about as he ascends to power for the next 5 years. And so far here from here, the next time we shall be engaging, we shall actually be at the historic Buhungu Stadium to just bring our viewers to speed with the happenings there, because we expect the outgoing governor, Wycliffe Oparanya, to come over there and hand over the instruments of power. And also the neighboring governors, of course, are from Kisumu, maybe from Nandi, Busia, Vihiga, and Bungoma. We expect that those leaders will be gracing that particular event that is actually expected to kick off any time from now. Next moment we are engaging, shall be at the Buhungu Stadium to just bring the events live from Buhungu here in Kakamega. Fathia.
Right, Uchanda, thank you very much. Of course, that is the swearing in of Kakamega County Fernandes Barasa. It will be happening a bit later. We'll be bringing you up to date with that. Now, I want us to just come back here in Nairobi. We go to our city center studio where our reporter Emmanuel To will be briefing us on the political diary. Good morning, To. What's happening on the political scene?
Well, thank you very much. Definitely a very packed day, just as you've already heard from Mombasa and Kakamega, that we're having the swearing-in ceremonies of the governors of those two counties. Remember, the elections for those two counties had been postponed, but were also held, and the seats went to Azimio La Umoja One Kenya. And today we are seeing that swearing-in ceremony. And of course, apart from that, we're expecting that the Council of Governors will be having an induction of all the elected governors, the 47 of them, and the deputy governors who are being inducted into office today in Mombasa County 001, as they try to, of course, understand how the landscape is supposed to be done. And of course, we also expect that they will be perhaps electing their chair, the chair of the Council of Governors. And we've seen several names being fronted for that process. We saw the name of Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru from the Kenya Kwanza, who had been proposed for that seat. And we're also seeing others, including Siaya Governor James Orengo, who are also looking for that opportunity, and other positions that will be there that will be to also guide the country ahead of these next 5 years. Something else that we'll be looking after or at is the cabinet secretaries that are supposed to be appointed by President William Ruto, and we are still waiting to get the final list, but we understand that President William Ruto had said that half of the cabinet will go to women, and that means that the other half will now be up for grabs for the many men who are trying to also get that opportunity to serve in his ministerial positions. And so there's a lot that we are still looking at, and we are waiting to see when President Ruto will be giving his full cabinet, and of course give some more details as to when they'll be starting off their duties. But we've seen so many issues because there are so many other new allies that have come on board, including Professor Kivutha Kibwana, the former governor for Makueni, and of course the former governor for Kisii, James Ongwae, who are also trying to angle for some positions that are there or up for grabs. And so it will be a delicate balancing act for President Ruto and others who are in the Kenya Kwanza government to see how they're going to move forward in terms of how they're going to come up with a new administration. So that is what we have from the political desk today, and we'll be giving some more when we have them in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you in studio.
Right, so thank you for that. Of course, the political diary seems very packed. Now, I want us to just cross over to Nakuru County and talk to our reporter, Dalma Sakali, on what's happening in Nakuru County, of course, with regard to the sudden death of Baringo Deputy Governor. Dalmas, good morning. Bring us up to date with that.
Good morning. Of course, as you've mentioned, I'm in Nakuru County, County 032, but of course the county and of course the region is joining Baringo County in mourning the death of Baringo County Deputy Governor Charles Kimng'ok, who died yesterday. And according to communication from Kenya Airways, the former KTDA, Kenya Tea Growers Association, KTGA chairperson, died, succumbed to breathing complications while about to board a plane that was Mombasa bound yesterday. And of course various leaders from the county, the region, and of course the country at large are sending in their condolences, of course referring to the late DG as an astute leader and who will be missed direly, of course, by the residents of Baringo County and the region at large. Chief amongst them is President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, through a tweet and of course a communication to various social media platforms, mentioned Kimng'ok as an astute and highly accomplished public servant who will be of course missed by the residents of Baringo County. And it's also important to remember that Kimng'ok has just died not even a month after being sworn in, of course deputizing Baringo County Governor Benjamin Cheboy. And of course, it's not just in the political realms alone. Kimng'ok is famously known for his contribution to tea farming in the region, starting as a management trainee at KTDA, rising over the years, and later on becoming a CEO of Kiptagich and Kaisusu tea factories, of course, in the region. Charles Kimng'ok, it's also important to remember, I will say, is the son of the region, having schooled at Emom Primary School, and later on studying at Tengeza High School for his O-levels, and later on going to Kijabe High School for his A-levels, and of course later on studying Bachelor of Business Administration, BA, at Baraton University. Later on in the day, we'll be talking to residents of Baringo County and various leaders to understand, of course, preparations towards the burial of His Excellency Kimng'ok, and of course to also understand how much he will be missed by the residents of Baringo County, of course just a few weeks after being sworn in to take up the role of Deputy Governor of Baringo County. So of course we'll be following up that story later on in the day, talking to various residents, talking to leaders, talking to neighbors. We're planning after here to visit his home, of course, in Baringo County, to get to compile a better story as regarding the whole story. But of course it is a somber mood, a mourning mood in Baringo County, and of course the region at large, as the region is mourning the death of Charles Kimng'ok, the Deputy Governor, the third Deputy Governor, if I'm not wrong, of County 032, that is County 030, that is Baringo County. So from Nakuru County, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Dalma Sakali, for that. Of course, report on the sudden death of Baringo Deputy Governor Charles Kimng'ok yesterday at JKIA. Now, I want us to move to the business diary and link up with our reporter, Kelvin Nyakundi, who's in our summit studios. Kelvin, good morning.
Yeah, nice to see you. All right, so on the business docket today, we are going to be looking at the biggest story, which is now Kenyans reacting to the palm prices. Now in Nairobi, as Clement has told us, in Nyeri it's 180 in Nairobi. After the release of the statement yesterday, we saw that super petrol is at 179.30, diesel is at 165.82, and kerosene at 174.19 from if we look at this prices that have been reviewed from the previous month, we see an increase of around 20 shillings when it comes to, and on average, when it comes to diesel, well, also super petrol. All right, so in Nairobi, that is the retailing price, and in other areas in regions like Nyeri, the way Clement has mentioned, is around 180 and maybe 0.1 cents or 1 shilling above the what we've just given out right now. All right, so that is one of the biggest stories that we'll be following up on today. We'll also be talking to Kenyans. We'll go to the petrol stations, trying to talk to Kenyans, motorists, and getting their reactions when it comes to the fuel prices. This is also going to impact on the food sector and also the SME sector. It's going to impact on all the sectors that are linked to this, which is almost every sector. So we would like to just go and dig deeper into how this will affect the various sectors in the country, and we are going to also be looking at players in these different sectors and getting their reactions and what this means going forward for the country in the coming months. We'll also be looking at CPF Financial Services, which has gotten a nod to start pension services to handle pensions for civil servants. Now, taking our views back a little bit, a bench of 3 judges ruled that while CPF had successfully bid for civil service pensions contract, which was put forward, the Board of Trustees employed delaying tactics to deny it the tender, but it eventually won with a 95.2%. Therefore, now it has gotten a nod from the court now to start pension services to handle this for civil servants. We are also going to be looking at that today. All right, so that is all we have on the business diary. We are also going to be looking at Kenya Bankers Hold Research Conference as sector set to undergo several reforms from CRB listing. All right, so this and much more we are going to be bringing for you, and also stick around. I'm going to be just handling this in the coming bulletin, which is a Business Cafe. Fathia.
Right, Kelvin, thank you very much for that. Of course, the fuel prices is an issue that is being talked about today in the country. We want to just move now to what's trending. Kiliad, good morning. Of course, the fuel prices is trending in the country. Just bring us up to date on what's happening, especially on social media, with regard to the fuel issue.
Good morning to you, Fatia. Yes, and just as Kelvin has shared here, Kenyans have really been talking about the fuel prices that were just announced by the Energy Regulation EPRA. So, and most of what Kenyans are saying, I've observed on both Twitter and Facebook. It's a trending topic right now, actually, on Twitter. And there's a lot of jest, there's a lot of people are making fun, while others are criticizing President Ruto's government. Remember, he had said that the fuel subsidy has not been sustainable for the country. And we saw that yesterday, after the removal of the fuel subsidy, we saw an increase in the fuel price, and Kenyans have been criticizing, a section of Kenyans have been criticizing that move of removing the subsidy at a time when the economy is really struggling, while the other side are saying that this is a commendable move because in the long term we've, as he said, as President Ruto said during his inauguration, we already lost close to 100 billion in the past months because of that subsidy, and if that continued, maybe there would have been a lot of pain for the taxpayers. So some have welcomed the decision to remove the subsidy on the fuel prices, and while others have said that, I've seen some joking that maybe in some sections of the country where fuel is cheaper. I think people are still politicizing issues in Kenya, while others also have made a comment on President Ruto's faith. They're saying maybe they will get bishops and pastors to pray that the fuel prices will go down. So basically they're attacking his strategy. But let me read you one comment from one Facebook user just to sum up this issue. I think she captures a lot of what Kenyans are saying. And this is what one Facebook user had to say. It is shameful for some people to see how things shall be fixed in this nation. I think she's in support of Ruto, and she goes on to say that it's too early to blame the new government for the ready-made issue, because for it to be fixed, the vessel and the potter's hands, we need to mold a new government. So basically, she's saying that those who are throwing words are like in-laws who attended a wedding and the next Saturday they're expecting a baby. So in short, he's saying let's give President Ruto time to fix some of the ailing issues that are facing our economy. Fatia.
Right. You were talking to me earlier about the death of the Baringo deputy governor that was also trending. Just tell us more about how people are reacted on social media.
Well, I think Dalma Sakali has already given us a very good background on this issue, but now what Kenyans are talking about is the circumstances that are surrounding the death of the Baringo deputy governor. This is because last evening, the Kenya Airways issued a statement informing the public that a passenger who collapsed and died while onboarding their flight to Mombasa. And this morning, it was actually confirmed that it was the Baringo deputy governor who was the passenger that died while boarding the flight. And why this story is interesting, Fatia, is because this is not the first time that such is happening. In the past month, we have had, this is the third case of a passenger who has died in Kenya Airways flight. The first being in August 22, when the KQ flight had to be rerouted, had to take an emergency landing in Casablanca, so that a patient who was unresponsive had to get medical attention. But this was not so, because by the time they were landing, the patient could not be revived or resuscitated. The other case that was also happened this month on September 2 involved a passenger who also experienced breathing difficulties while en route to New York, and the flight had to be rerouted to Morocco for the patient to seek medical attention. But by the time they were arriving, the 66-year-old man was pronounced dead on arrival. And now this case, so it's just people are wondering, how is this a coincidence, or what could possibly be the issue around these deaths that are associated with the flight. So people are just, of course, we've seen Kenyans mourning with the county government of Baringo. We've seen President Ruto already sending his message of condolences, and in the course of the day, I think we'll see more Kenyans reacting to this issue. But just to take away the issue from the KQ flight, is just Kenyans are very sad, because it's barely 3 weeks since the governor and the deputy governor took their oaths of office, and we couldn't get to see what the county government of Baringo would have gotten from the services of the deputy governor who has just died. And our condolences to the family and the entire county of Baringo on